What you are about to hear is the story of Zaid and Layla, a love born in the desert sands, hidden from feuding tribes and bound by fate. In a world divided by loyalty and war, they defy everything to keep a love that even the desert winds cannot erase. The desert stretches vast and endless, its golden sands shifting beneath the relentless sun. Among the scattered tents of a nomadic camp, the hum of daily life is interrupted by the return of Zaid, a seasoned warrior, scarred and weary from a recent skirmish with a rival tribe. His people regard him with respect, but today he moves with caution, his steps marked by pain. As he makes his way to the healer's tent, he encounters Layla, the healer's daughter, known for her gentle hands and sharp mind. Her gaze meets his, and in that moment, the bustling camp fades, leaving only the unspoken connection between them. Layla is drawn to Zaid's quiet strength, noticing the weariness in his eyes that speaks of countless battles. She approaches him without a word, guiding him to sit as she begins to clean his wounds. Zaid, used to facing enemies but unfamiliar with kindness, watches her in silence, captivated by the calm that surrounds her. Layla's gentle hands work skillfully, but her heart races as she feels the intensity of his gaze. Though they come from opposing tribes bound by ancient feuds and violent confrontations, there is an unexplainable pull between them. For the next several days, Layla continues to tend to Zaid's injuries, and with each meeting, their connection deepens. They exchange whispered words, shared glances, and stories of their lives in the desert. Zaid speaks of the harshness of his life, the expectations placed upon him to protect his people, to carry on the legacy of his father. Layla, in turn, tells him of the healer's life, of how she's seen more suffering than joy, and how she dreams of a peace that her people believe will never come. As Zaid's wounds begin to heal, so too does a newfound hope within him, a hope born from Layla's presence. He begins to see the desert differently, not as a battlefield, but as the place that brought him to her. Yet, he knows the risks they face, aware that their secret meetings could mean betrayal in the eyes of his people. Layla, too, feels the weight of their impossible bond, fearing the wrath of her father and her tribe if they were to discover her feelings for a warrior from their sworn enemies. One evening, beneath the quiet of the desert night, Zaid and Layla meet by the edge of the camp, where the dunes stretch endlessly under a blanket of stars. There, hidden from prying eyes, Zaid reaches for her hand, his voice filled with urgency and tenderness. "Layla," he whispers, "we are bound to lives that have taught us to hate one another. But I cannot deny what I feel for you." Layla's heart aches as she gazes into his eyes, the sincerity of his words breaking through the walls she's built around herself. "If we are discovered, we risk everything, our families, our people. But I cannot imagine a life without you, Zaid." They share a lingering kiss, a silent vow of the love that binds them despite the ancient hatred between their tribes. Yet, even as they hold each other in the stillness of the desert night, the threat of their forbidden love looms over them. They know their connection is as fragile as the shifting sands, and that the dawn will bring with it the demands of loyalty and duty that could tear them apart. The days pass, and Zaid and Layla's secret love blossoms, hidden under the cloak of midnight and the vastness of the desert. In the quiet hours, they steal moments to meet under the stars, sharing their deepest fears and whispered dreams of a future free from the chains of tribal conflict. Each meeting is a stolen breath, a chance to hold one another and pretend, if only for a brief moment, that they are not bound by the demands of their people. Yet, the desert's silence grows heavy as rumors of war reach both camps. Layla's father, a respected healer in the tribe, hears whispers of an impending attack from Zaid's people. The tension rises as Layla's tribe prepares for retaliation, distrust running deep. The young men sharpen their swords, the women weave protective charms, and children are warned to stay near the tents. Layla feels the weight of her people's fear, her heart sinking as she realizes that her love for Zayd may be the spark that ignites the coming war. In a desperate attempt to understand the rising hostility, Zayd confronts his own tribe's chieftains. They speak of loyalty, of vengeance, and the need to protect their land from ancient enemies. Zayd's heart is torn between the duty to his people and his love for Layla. He can't bear the thought of her caught in the crossfire, and his frustration grows as he feels the cold reality of the world around him closing in. One night, Zayd and Layla meet near the boundary of their camps, the desert wind swirling around them. Layla's face is clouded with worry, and Zayd pulls her close, determined to protect her. "Layla, this cannot be how it ends. There has to be another way." Tears glisten in her eyes as she clings to him, the despair in her voice breaking through the silence. "If our love is discovered, both our tribes will demand retribution. I am terrified, Zayd, of what they will do to you, of what they'll do to us." They share a long, desperate embrace, their love unspoken yet deeply understood. In each other's arms, they find a sense of peace, a reprieve from the storm of expectations and ancient feuds that swirl around them. But Layla knows that their love, as fierce as it may be, cannot survive in secrecy forever. As the night deepens, Zayd takes her hand and vows, "I will find a way, Layla. We will not be torn apart by the hatred of our people. If I have to defy them, I will. For you." But as they part, the fear of betrayal weighs heavily on them both. Layla watches Zayd disappear into the shadows, her heart heavy with the knowledge that their love, already dangerous, teeters on the brink of discovery. The drums of war beat louder each day, and they both know that their forbidden love might be the first casualty in a battle they never wished to wage. The sands of the desert carry whispers of war as both tribes ready themselves for an inevitable clash. Suspicion mounts, and both camps are on high alert. As dawn approaches, Zayd receives a summons from his chieftain, who speaks of loyalty, duty, and the need to reclaim honor. The chieftain warns him of a traitor within their ranks, a young warrior who has been seen slipping into enemy territory in the dead of night. Zayd feels a chill realizing the danger he and Layla are in. His people are watching, and betrayal is not an offense that goes unpunished. Meanwhile, Layla's father begins to suspect her secrecy, her late-night absences, and the faraway look in her eyes. She has become distant, and he fears she may be compromised by the very people they have vowed to fight. As tensions reach a fever pitch, Layla's father confronts her, pressing her to reveal what she hides. Trapped and terrified, she refuses, yet her silence speaks volumes. Their love exposed and their fates sealed, Zayd and Layla meet one final time in the oasis at the edge of the camp, a place they once claimed as their sanctuary. The desert night wraps around them as they share a desperate, final embrace. "They know, Layla," Zayd whispers, his voice filled with sorrow. "They know of us. We are marked." Layla's tears fall freely as she holds him close. "Then let us run, Zayd. Let us leave this place and find a life far from the hate and bloodshed." Zayd's heart breaks at her words, for he knows what she is asking. But he also knows the price of betrayal, the wrath of both their tribes, the life of hardship that awaits them beyond the desert. "They will hunt us, Layla. We cannot escape their reach, and you would lose everything you have ever known." They stand in silence, hearts entwined yet pulled in opposite directions. Layla, in her desperation, clutches his hand. "If we stay, we will be torn apart by duty and loyalty that mean nothing compared to this." As dawn begins to break, Zayd and Layla make their choice. They will stay and face the consequences, for they cannot abandon their people, even as they know it means a life without one another. In a final act of love, they make a vow beneath the desert sky to carry each other in their hearts, even as the sands of time pull them in separate directions. With one last, lingering kiss, they part. Layla watches Zayd walk back into the camp, knowing it is the last time she will see him, her heart forever marked by a love that could never be. In the days that follow, both tribes go to war, but Layla and Zayd hold to the memory of their love, a bond that transcends the hatred of their people. Their story becomes legend, a tale of two lovers divided by tribe and loyalty, who defied the desert sands and left behind a love that would echo through generations. Their people, though hardened by war, speak of them in reverent tones, a reminder that even in the harshest of places, love can find a way to bloom, if only for a brief, stolen moment.